Today, I'm going to discuss Daniel, the book of Daniel. Specifically, when I'm talking about Daniel 7:13. But I will give you a little bit of background on Daniel first. Daniel was captive by King Nebuchadnezzar, who was the king of Babylon. He attacked Jerusalem in 605 BC and took a bunch of captives from the royal household and stuff, and took the best and the brightest and decided to train them, and they would be put into the king's service. Daniel was one of the people selected. He and 3 others of his household went as captives and studied for 3 years, and then went into service for the king. Nebuchadnezzar was not a really bad person, but he was a typical king during that time. And he had some bad dreams. So one day he comes to his wise men, he says, I've had a dream. So all of you, he brought his sorcerers, his necromancers, all his wise men, and said, now, interpret my dream. And they said, well, what's the dream about? He said, I'm not going to tell you. You interpret my dream. You're the wise man, you're sorcerers, all of witchcraft, all that stuff. Tell me what my dream is. They said, well, that's impossible for me to do that if you don't even tell us what it's about. So I said, okay, all of you, you're going to be put to death. And he included Daniel and his 3 friends. Daniel didn't actually want to be put to death, so he went to God, who was a very loyal servant of God the whole time he was there as a slave. Prayed daily. So he prayed to God, just give him the insight to interpret the king's dream. Not only to give him the insight, he gave him the visions, which he was able to interpret. He could actually see the king's dream and interpret it. So he went the next day, he told the king, I can interpret your dream. Okay, let's see. So he did. Interpreted the dream for him correctly. So the king says, great, you're really good. I'm going to put you in charge of all the wise men because, hey, you're smarter than they are, obviously. So he continued on that path for the next couple of years, and always interpreting the king's dreams properly and elevating himself within the king's household. So at one point, he had a vision at night in his own quarters, and his vision was 4 beasts. These 4 beasts were fighting with his God, and they weren't doing so well. Okay, let's leave it at that. But the part of his dream that he was really struck by, he said, the sun I saw in the night visions, and behold, one like the Son of Man come with the clouds of heaven, and came to the Ancient of Days, and they brought him near before him. And there was given him domination, the glory and the kingdom, that all people, nations, and languages should serve him. His dominion is an everlasting dominion, which shall not pass away, and his kingdom that which shall not be destroyed. That's a pretty heavy dream, if you ask me. But like I say, this is about 600 years before Christ. So let's fast forward 600 years and see what happened. We're going to go into the Gospel of Mark, chapter 14. And if you go to verse 53, you see Jesus is being tried before the council. Judas has already betrayed him. He's taken now. He's in front of the council being tried to see what's going to happen to him. Everybody's pushing for him to die, of course. So the chief priests and all the council sought for witness against Jesus to put him to death and found none. For many bear false witness against him, but their witness agreed not together. So his story did not agree with his story, and his story did not agree with his story. So now you've got all these false witnesses. Okay? And there was other ones, certain ones that arose and bear false witness, saying, we heard him say, I will destroy this temple that is made with hands, and within 3 days I will build another temple made without hands. And again, several of them got up to say that, but they didn't, their stories didn't all match. So again, the witness did not agree. So the high priest stood up in the middle of everybody, and he asked Jesus, saying, answerest thou nothing? And his wife, you have nothing to say against all these people swearing, witness against you? And Jesus didn't say anything. He just held his peace, quiet. Again, the high priest asked him and said unto him, art thou the Christ, the Son of the Blessed? And Jesus said, I am. And ye shall see the Son of Man sitting on the right hand of power and coming in the clouds of heaven. Virtually exactly what Daniel said or saw in his vision 600 years before. Daniel prophesied it. Jesus fulfilled it. You can't ask for more proof than that. Love one another. Have a good day. Amen.